This
Everyone, I
conference
see
will
on
now
my
be
phone.
recorded.
Thank you. It's being recorded. I see on my phone it is 7 o'clock, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. Uh, this being session 07-2024 of the Committee of Adjustment. Call to order. Emergency exits in the unlikely event that we've got to vacate the room here. Behind you and over here to your left are the emergency exits. Declarations of pecuniary interest to the committee members now or at any point during the meeting, please. Next one is approval of the agenda. I have put, and you've all got 4 things there. I want to add these items to the agenda for tonight's meeting, particularly because it's budget time with the town, and so we need to get these in. So what I'm asking approval from the committee members to put on there, first off, training for members, and I've put Mr. Paul Dre down here because he does that. Second one, Ontario Association of Committees of Adjustment Annual Conference, training meetings. We'll get to details of that later. Third one, Committee of Adjustment Procedural Bylaw. And last one, decisions that we do for all of our files, recording for or against. Do I have any objections to adding these to our minute meeting tonight? Seeing none, then we'll add those to it. Simi, do you want to? You have it? Thank you. Very good. So with that addition, then, can I have someone? Yes,
I was just going to ask if that had been moved or seconded, but it sounds like you're going there now.
I'm just going there. Yes. So can I have that moved by Dave Carbert, the amended agenda, seconded Corinne Pollard. Any objections? Seeing none, that passes. Approval of the minutes, bear with me. Minutes of our last session. Any corrections, questions, comments? Seeing none, can I have somebody move to approve the minutes of our last meeting, please? Corinne, seconded by Jerry Reed. Any objections? Seeing none, that passes. Okay, the next one's going to be public question period, but before we get to that, let me talk about the Committee of Adjustment because I want to put, it's important that we put the Committee of Adjustment in perspective. A Committee of Adjustment is quite different from any of the other committees of council. We are a quasi-judicial body. What we have here tonight, these are not meetings. This is either, we call it a tribunal or a hearing. The distinction there is quite important because it means that we operate in a little different way from other committees of council. So I just wanted to clarify that up front. The other thing that I'll say this before we get to public question period in case it brings up any questions. Tonight's meeting, this is not a new file. This is not a new tribunal. This is not a new hearing. This is a continuation of the one that we held last month. So for that reason, we have already heard from public for or against the application. We will not be hearing that again tonight. That would be repeating things that have already happened. This will be the committee deliberating on that. So I wanted to make that clear before I now say public question period. Our meetings are all public and the town of Mono, our style is to allow a public question period for people in the audience and that. So if does anybody have any questions, this would be your time to ask them. Seeing none, I'm going to move along here. New business correspondence, additions to the agenda. We already covered that, none. So unfinished business. Unfinished business, and I'm going to read this. This is consent application for severance. Oh, sorry, before I do this, I was remiss. I should have told everyone, our meeting tonight is being recorded. It's not a live broadcast. It is being recorded. So everybody is aware of that fact. So unfinished business now. Consent application for severance, 287199 10 Side Road, Mono, and that's file B0324-24. Consent application to sever the creation of a new lot with an area of 1.86 hectares, which is 4.6 acres, comprising a detached residence, chalet, and garage from the subject property. The retained area of 8.09 hectares or 20 acres will be preserved and protected as part of the Bruce Trail Conservation Corridor. Property is designated almost entirely escarpment natural, with some escarpment protection under the Niagara Escarpment Plan, the NEP. We have received some emails from residents. We have from the Bruce Trail Conservancy, Anton Diamond, her letter dated October 23rd. I'm not going to read through the whole letter. It's on it's on the website. Yes, the letter. Yeah. Yes, thank you. So it was made available to the public. All committee members have your letter. So I think that that's quite clear. And again, I said we have some other emails from residents about this. So let me just carry on here. We had already heard from our planning consultant about this. I don't think there's anything more. Deborah Alexander, we already have your report, so I'm just going to acknowledge that we have that, if that's okay with you. Thank you. We are not having a presentation from the applicant or their representatives. That already happened, or from the public. So bear with me, please. In the carrying on about the Committee of Adjustment as a quasi-judicial body, so that it's clear for everyone, I want to talk about the four choices that this committee has on this file or any files. And that, so the most common is that we can approve an application. Second one, we can refuse an application. The third one, which is not so common, but it has happened, is to defer an application or adjourn it or defer it to another meeting. And the last one is that this committee, under the Planning Act, which is one of the acts that we operate under, we can reserve a decision. Reserving a decision allows the committee members to discuss the application and then come up with a recommendation or a decision on that. So reserving the decision, because this is quasi judicial, I think of this as, for example, a jury in a trial, in a hearing, and that. So the jury, they go off and they discuss it and then come back with a decision. And that's what reserving a decision allows us as a committee, a quasi judicial tribunal committee to do. So those are the choices that we have here tonight. With that in mind, I think I've said enough. Um, Now it's up to the committee with all of the information that we have here to discuss this or make a recommendation. The microphone, please.
Yeah, I don't have any questions for the applicant on the new material that was submitted. If we're going to do a round of questions first, I don't have any questions on the new material.
Do any members or no? We have it all? No, no. So we don't. Okay, so questions from the committee, that's done.
All right, then I would make a motion now that the committee reserve its decision for the express purpose of meeting privately to discuss this meeting. We've heard from the residents, we've heard from the applicant, and I move that application B0324 with respect to the property at 287-199 10 Side Road in the town of Mono be reserved, the decision be reserved for the express purpose of the committee meeting and issuing written reasons.
Okay, motion is on the floor. Do we have a seconder? Dave Carbert, seconded by Dave Carbert. For the purposes of clarity here, and it was suggested after our last meeting, I'm going to ask for a recorded vote on that motion. Yes, Fred.
Okay. I'd like to just say a couple words, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, thank you.
I believe you already know my position on this. According to the Municipal Act, as supported by decisions by the Ontario Ombudsman, who is charged with the responsibility to for open meeting rules and requirements for municipal governments. No committee of council, and this committee under the Municipal Act is defined as a local board. No municipal committee, council, local board, or any committee of any of those are allowed to go in camera for the purpose that you're describing. The Municipal Act schedules very specific reasons why a committee or council or board can go in camera. This is not one of them. Now, I understand there may be a disagreement in opinion, but I am stating that as the clerk for the town of Mono, I'm advising this committee that in my opinion, what you're proposing, if you're proposing going in camera to discuss this case, specifically the material matters that are going to lead to a decision, would be contrary to the Municipal Act, subject to an investigation if anyone were to file a complaint, and that, in my opinion, the committee would be found to be in conflict with the Municipal Act. So hence, I recommend strongly, I can't make this any more clear, I don't think, strongly recommend that the committee does not go in camera for the purpose as described.
All right, Fred, thank you for that. Simi, please make sure that exactly what Fred just said is recorded in the minutes. Thank you for that opinion. We're dealing with this as what a committee of adjustment under the Planning Act, that would be Section 45 of the Planning Act. We're dealing with that, which gives us the right to reserve a decision. So we have that as a motion on the floor.
Gives you the right to reserve a decision, but not to do it in camera. That's the point I'm making. You cannot do that in camera. If you want to reserve a decision and then discuss it in the public. So I won't say any more. I'm stating that as the clerk for the town of Mono, responsible for the procedures and guidance to council and all the committees, that you are, in my opinion, will run into a conflict with the Municipal Act by being non-compliant with the open meeting rules articulated in the Municipal Act that you are bound by.
Thank you again, Fred. Again, Simi, please make sure that that's in the minutes.
I'll
Eric.
just note that there are exceptions under the Municipal Act that do allow meetings in camera. And this is one of the exceptions that does apply. And we have no other opinion to the contrary.
Other than mine.
Other than
Yes,
yours.
and thank you. We understand that. We're going to proceed as we just said, and as Eric has just said. So we're forewarned. That's your opinion about this. We have a different experience in that. So that's where we're going to. Mike, is there something you want to say?
No, I was just ready if you're on the table and you wanted a recorded vote.
Thank you. I was just going to get to that. So yes, we do want a recorded vote on the motion to reserve this decision. So Dave Carbert, are you for reserving the decision? Dave Carbert is for. Eric Forney, for. Jerry Reed, for, and Corinne Pollard, for, and myself, Bob McCray, also for. So it is unanimous that we have passed the motion to reserve the decision. So with that,
So,
yes.
Mr. Chair, so is it your intention at some point in this meeting to go in camera?
Well, I was just going to say, we have two options here. We can do that right now. I'd love to see this resolved tonight, but it's the will of the committee as to how we want to proceed with that. So I'm going to.
What would the other option be if not going in camera tonight? Scheduling another meeting with the sole matter being discussed is an in-camera meeting?
That could be one, yes. Yep.
Do you see another option?
No, those are the two options. So my suggestion, rather than ask everybody to vacate the room, if it is the will of the committee to resolve this tonight, my suggestion would be that we go upstairs to that small conference room, the committee and the committee only, and we will discuss this tonight and with the intention of coming back with a decision. Yes, Fred.
Okay, so this committee meets in this room because that's where it was published. This committee shall continue to meet in this room unless it's published otherwise, because that's also part of the open meeting rules. You
Okay.
must publish where you meet. So we would ask everyone who is not specifically invited to stay, and you can invite someone to stay in an in-camera meeting, must be recorded,
Okay.
but
Well,
they would be asked to leave. They could go upstairs.
okay. Thank you for setting me straight on that. And I apologize, but first off, the committee, are we in agreement that we want to discuss this right here, right now, tonight? Yes, yes, yes. So with that, we're going to ask, and I apologize, the only people, yes, Fred?
Before going in camera, the committee must pass an open council, open to everyone in the public, a resolution stating that they're going in camera. They must indicate why they're going in camera and give some indication. They must include what section out of section 239, what subsection they're going in camera under. I can assist this committee with everything except for what section, because in my opinion, there is no section that actually is satisfied by this meeting. So you will have to determine that on your own. But I can help you with the wording that the going in camera resolution passed in open council must take.
Okay.
First of all,
Eric,
Fred, our
please.
the resolution that has already passed did include the express.
That is not good enough.
No,
The act is very clear
one thing at a
that you
time.
must pass
Yeah,
a
Fred-
resolution specific to go in camera. And this is something that you cannot get around. You must pass a resolution to go in camera, and you must state what subsection out of the act from Article 239 that you're going in camera for, and you must indicate a general purpose of why you're going in camera. That is required. There is no debate.
What I'm saying is that we have already, the resolution itself includes the first part of that we are going in camera.
Mr. Chair, you can accept my advice on this and pass the resolution required by law, or you can continue to stray into uncharted
Yep.
waters. I
Fred,
leave that for you, sir.
Fred, thank you for your opinion and your advice. I appreciate it. But we have passed a resolution that we're reserving the decision, and we're going to discuss this as a committee. So, as always, if somebody, including the town of Mono, don't like what we do, they can appeal it to the Ontario Land Tribunal.
For anyone listening to the public, this can be appealed to the town's closed meeting investigator. That information is on our website. It would be investigated by an independent who's been contracted. And in the town of Mono, it's LAS who will conduct that investigation, which will then be reviewed by the ombudsman.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're going to proceed as we have unanimously voted to do. Eric, can you help me, please?
The section of the Act 239 that applies is subsection G.
I'm sorry, subsection G?
G.
Sorry, so was that a resolution or you're just putting that
I'm
on
just
the
telling
floor?
you.
So that was not included in the resolution,
not
but you're
included in the
indicating
resolution.
subsection G.
Okay, do we need to add that to our resolution and pass it?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. We're just stating that that's the grounds that we're going in camera. Correct? That's right. So, Fred, have we, you said a lot of things there. Have we done everything that we need to do to go in camera?
Absolutely not, but apparently you're not taking my advice.
I appreciate your opinion. Thank you.
Would the chair entertain a motion to go into camera by the clerk as described by the board previously?
Help me.
Would the chair entertain getting in line with section 239 as described by the clerk to properly go in camera?
Oh, is it yes? Yes,
Okay, just give us 30 seconds here.
Thank
and-
you.
And Fred will come up with the wording.
thank you.
You do want.
Yes, you wanted a resolution, you got a resolution.
So the resolution I would propose for the committee is that the Committee of Adjustment move into a closed meeting pursuant to Section 239 of the Municipal Act 2020 as 2001, as amended at, let's call that 7:25 PM to discuss the Bruce Trail Conservancy consent file B03-24 under section 239-2G, a matter in respect of which a council, board, committee, or other board may hold a closed meeting under another act.
Okay, So-
So move.
moved by Eric Forney, seconded by Corinne Pollard. I don't think we need a recorded vote here. Are we unanimous with this? We are unanimous. We passed that.
Okay, so the committee is now in closed session. You do indicate who you would like to stay, if anyone. Everyone else will have to please vacate chambers, and that includes the entire lower level of this building.
I would request that Simi, our secretary treasurer, stays, and everyone else to please vacate.
Okay, all staff will be staying. You don't want anyone else in?
No.
Okay. Mr. Dunmore, if you could stop the recording of the meeting, please.
This conference will now be recorded.
So the resolution that I recommend for the committee is that we rise from the in-camera session at 8:17 p.m.
Okay. Do we? Who wants to move that,
I will
please?
move it.
Moved by Jerry Reed, seconded by Corinne Pollard. All in favor? Yep. Thank you, Fred. Thank you. We are recording now. Yes. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, out of respect, I think we should. Well, if you want to chew on some dry pasta over there, or, yeah, it's a contest for who is it? The small municipalities contest for the food bank, Mike.
Great plug, Bob. So
Yeah.
the Township of Melanchthon challenged all the lower tiers of Dufferin County to
There's dry pasta over there, Elaine. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, Mike. Finish your. So there was a challenge.
So the Township of Melanchthon challenged all the lower tiers to a food bank challenge. That's and you can drop off any non-perishable until November 29th. And that's in the front lobby that you see up there. And this is a separate challenge still put towards the Orangeville Food Bank between council and staff. And I'll let you decide which table is staff and which table is council.
Okay.
We might have jumped it off very quick on the first night.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Mike. Okay. Fred, we've already moved that we're back in. Help me with
Yes, the committee has
process.
already passed its rise from in-camera resolution that was done in open council, and no other business has been done since we've risen.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Fred. Thank you for your patience. With that, we had a discussion asking the committee for motions, please.
All right, I will make the first motion, and in respect of the application by the Bruce Trail Conservancy, that being application number B0324, which is a request for the consent of this committee to sever a portion of the property that the Bruce Trail Conservancy owns at 287-199 10 Side Road in Mono. I move that the application as to the severance be allowed on the following 3 conditions. 1, payment in full of any outstanding municipal taxes, fees, or charges. 2, submission to the Secretary Treasurer of written confirmation from the Director of Public Works that his concerns have been satisfied. 3, submission to the Secretary Treasurer of 3 copies of a deed and 1 digital and 1 hard copy of the deposited reference plan, which conforms substantially with the application as approved.
Okay, so that motion is moved with those 3 conditions. I will second that. Fred?
Okay, so just a minor matter of procedure going forward. When a recorded vote is called, and I'm assuming one's going to be called,
Yes.
right? The names are called not by the chair or committee member. They're called by staff, typically the Secretary Treasurer. But in this case, being the first time, I'll do the call.
Okay, very
Thank
good. Thank you. So that's moved by Eric Forney, seconded by Bob McRae. We're calling for a recorded vote. Fred,
So a recorded vote has been called. The motion has been read. Does anyone on the committee wish the motion to be reread? No, then I will call for the vote. Mr. Reed, how do you vote? Four.
Oh, no, you.
No, no. Turn your mic on.
Okay, on the assumption that there was a bit of confusion there, let me do it again.
Okay.
Okay, so on the motion, as has been moved and seconded, does anyone on the committee wish it to be reread? Okay, not hearing anyone. Calling for the individual votes. Mr. Reed, how do you vote on the motion?
Jerry?
Or
Vote
against?
nay. No.
No. Okay, Mr. Fournier, how do you vote?
I vote for.
Mr. Carbert, how do you vote?
No.
Ms. Pollard, how do you vote?
No.
Mr. McCray, how do you vote?
Four.
4.
Four.
So the motion is lost.
Okay. Anybody, another motion?
Just read it with the one more condition. Have it as read with the extra condition.
Okay, so I'll read the same motion. Put forth a motion for application B03-24. Applicant is the Bruce Trail Conservancy. Subject property, 287199 10th Side Road in Mono. And I would propose the consent with all, and I don't have the conditions, all of the 4 conditions.
Yeah, you don't have to read them again, just.
Okay,
Actually,
Oh.
Chair, I would like them all read. So
Oh, thank you,
no
Fred.
confusion on what
Okay,
the motion is.
Corinne, there you go. Thank you,
Perfect.
please. Thank you.
I can read them if you want, Miss, or you can read them.
okay, doesn't matter to me. All 4 conditions, payment in full of any outstanding municipal taxes, fees, or charges. Number 2, submission to the Secretary Treasurer of written confirmation from the Director of Public Works that the matters outlining in his comments dated June 9th, oh, that was amended,
That was amended.
as
Here.
amended.
Here, you can have this. This was the amended wording that we worked out last time.
Perfect,
which is
thank you.
just that paragraph 2.
Perfect. So I'll scratch that and go back to condition 2, submission to the Secretary Treasurer of written confirmation from the Director of Public Works that his concerns have been satisfied. Condition 3, submission to the Secretary Treasurer of 3 copies of the deed and 1 digital and 1 hard copy of the disposition reference plan, which conform substantially with the application as approved. And condition 4, payment of the parkland levy to the town in the amount equivalent to 5% of the accepted appraised land value for the approved lot pursuant to the Planning Act to the sole satisfaction of the town treasurer.
Okay, thank you. Moved by Corinne Pollard, seconded by Dave Carbert. I'll call for a recorded vote, please. Fred?
Okay, so there's been a recorded vote called for the motion. The motion's been moved and seconded and is on the floor. Does anyone on the committee wish the motion to be reread? So we'll call for the recorded vote. Mr. Reed, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Fournier?
No.
Mr. Colbert?
Yes.
Ms. Pollard?
Yes.
Mr. McCray?
No. So the motion passes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Okay, we'll issue the decision with the reasons. So that's it. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Staff, thank you, helping us navigate that one. It was a unique and learning experience in that, but I'm glad we did what we did. With that, we're moving on to and let's do this quick. We don't need to spend a lot of time on this. The additions that we made to the agenda. I think we're at that point, Fred, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Just, I'm a little gun shy here and just needing to double check. So the first one here, and I brought these up, training for members. And I've specifically put the name Paul Dre down there. It is my contention, because we have 2 years left in this mandate. It is my contention that we need more comprehensive training as how committees of adjustment work, and that I was met Mr. Paul Dre, who is already known to the town of Mono because he consulted on the noise bylaw, but he also does specific training for committees of adjustment, a day-long course, and that and no criticism of it, but we need more comprehensive training. That's my belief. So that's what I'm proposing. Mr. Dre does go away in the winter, so training, it's a day-long training session with materials, and that's not going to be until the new year anyhow. But we have to get that put into the budget. We have no training budget. So that's my suggestion, is that we should put training for committee members and staff as well into the budget. Yes, Fred, please.
So if Mr. Dre weren't available on the timeline that the committee's hoping for, if someone equally is capable, maybe Fred Dean or who's Fred's partner?
Nigel Belcher.
Nigel Belchamber, if either them or someone like that.
I'm not married to Paul Dre, except after I did talk with him out in the parking lot after the noise bylaw discussion. And when he said he does and has done in the local area here, he lives in Elora, these sessions, that sure piqued my interest.
If
So,
he's available.
so if, but I suggest, or I would like to, I don't know if we need a motion on this.
I think if you got a couple of things that are budget related, maybe you go through each of those and then wrap it up with a resolution of advice to council. Because you're
Okay.
going to have to ask council for this.
And they're going to want to know
So if you go
costs.
through the various things that you think that are budget related and need approval of council, go
There's-
through those items and then
Okay.
do one more resolution, which is a resolution of advice.
Okay.
That's my
Thank you.
suggestion.
And there's only 2 of them here that have budget concerns. The second one is Ontario Association of Committees of Adjustment Annual Conference Training Meetings. They have 2 every year. These are not junkets, and that I attended one years ago in Coburg, bless you. I attended one years ago in Coburg. Drove down to Coburg myself, took my own beer, stayed in the cheapest hotel in Coburg, and bought a pizza for dinner. It was not a junket, but I learned so much from that conference and training session. So it is my suggestion here that at the least, Simi should attend both of those meetings. There's a summer one and a fall one. At the least, Simi should attend it, but I really suggest, and I don't want to spend taxpayers' money. I said it at our last meeting. I just paid my last tax bill, $8,500. And that aside, I learned a lot from that meeting, and we put changes into effect in the Committee of Adjustment.
We call it park plan training?
Very clever. So it's my suggestion that both Simi absolutely, and it doesn't have to be me. One other member of the committee, because there were several sessions in that, and it was back in the day when Judy Coney was here. She went to some, I went to others. We put our hands together. Somewhere I may still have a report that I did. So I would like to suggest that we do that and get it budgeted for.
Keep rolling.
That's it. That's it for budget stuff.
So just on that one, so Simi doesn't need to be part of that conversation. She has her own training budget already, and the offers are standing for her. This
Okay.
is committee. This is committee.
Okay, I didn't know that.
That's fine.
No, Mike, thanks. Thank you for that. I had several discussions with the previous director of planning and it got nowhere. So that's why I'm bringing it up here as the chair. It's my obligation to promote things that I think are important for this committee. And given the quasi judicial nature of this committee, we need as much training as possible. These things change. I know a previous Susan Pottle attended one of these training sessions and she came back with knowledge that she didn't have. So it's important. So then what we're asking for is to put in through a training budget for one committee member to, in addition to Simi, who's already got training budget, one committee member to attend both of the Ontario Association of Committees of Adjustment.
Is that the motion?
Well, Fred, you're going to have to help me here now. We got two things there: training for members, plus one member to have money for committees of adjustment meeting.
You need
So-
that as a motion? or-
So you're asking, that's fine. You'll be asking for funding for this. So that should come in a resolution of advice. But the clerk and I would like to hear what COA procedural bylaw is, because if that's something that's going to be staff time, you're still asking for money, right?
Okay, well, our procedural bylaw is, right now, it's the town's bylaw.
So what you're asking for is a separate C of A procedural bylaw to be created?
Oh, that's the next one.
Right, but if that's what you're asking, that'll have a financial impact to the committee as well, because it'll be staff time.
Okay,
Go to council.
So it should go to council as a resolution of advice.
including that one in with the training and the Association of Committees of Adjustment, that as well.
We're getting there, yeah. Yep.
Okay, no,
Yep, that's great.
thank you.
That's
Thanks
great.
for, so the moving down to the next one. So some municipalities, given the quasi judicial nature of the Committee of Adjustment, some municipalities do have a separate Committee of Adjustment procedural bylaw.
Ottawa, that was interesting.
I sent you the Ottawa one and that. So question is, do we think that that is a good thing? Eric, you may know more about that than I do.
This came up on a couple of occasions when I've looked at points, and including this one, this issue of what happens when a committee of adjustments reserves a decision. But for another example, is that the general committee bylaw in the town of Mono talks about a secretary being nominated by council, or if it's a staff member, being automatic. But under the Planning Act, the secretary of the Committee of Adjustments must be appointed by a resolution of the committee. That's the kind of thing that is best articulated in a separate bylaw. It is quite common, from my review of other towns, that they do have a separate bylaw because it is the only committee that has that quasi judicial mandate.
I'm fully on board. Point I think that the CIO is raising is we need council's approval because unless the committee plans on sitting down in this chamber in a public meeting to draft this, it's going to take staff resources.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah.
So the committee maybe what you're looking at is a resolution of advice for a training budget that includes all the things you talked about, right? The amount to be determined could go in your resolution, and that staff authorize adequate time, or council authorizes the sufficient resources that staff can prepare a draft procedure bylaw that first goes, that's as far as it needs to go in the resolution. I foresee that first going to the committee for approval and with a resolution of advice to either accept it as presented or with recommended changes, and that council would ultimately approve that.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Jerry is reminding me here that in fact, the Committee of Adjustment used to have a separate procedural bylaw. So I think it's a spectacular idea. So we're adding this into our,
Yeah, so if you want to consider a resolution such as the Committee of Adjustment makes the following advice to council, that the committee be authorized a training budget that would, at a minimum, include specialized training by an outside provider, one member annually attending the conference.
there are two meetings.
Okay,
Two meetings of the
minimum. So
OACA.
semi-annually then. if
Yes,
that's what
thank
it
you.
is. Or two members, whether that's annual, both at once, because maybe two want to go to one, right? Whatever you guys want,
Yeah.
right? That authorize,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 6 members, whatever you want.
Yeah,
That's the first half. And that council authorize the sufficient staff resources to prepare a draft Committee of Adjustment procedure bylaw.
I think that's spectacular, what you just said.
Motion by Fred.
Yeah, Fred, thank you for summarizing that. I think everybody, are we in agreement on those?
Just
Yes,
clarify
yes.
how many people on the annual conference.
One committee member at each of the two conferences.
What is there, spring and fall?
Yes, or yeah, summer and fall and that, but yes, I mean, and Simi's gonna go to both of them.
Jimmy will go as she's available to her own schedule.
Yeah, okay. And if she doesn't go, then, yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, thank you, Mike.
Mike's gonna supply the pizza.
I don't know, look, yeah, I'll supply the pizza and beer, anyhow, so, yeah, one committee member at each of the two annual conferences. Yeah, we don't need any more than one. And that,
Are you making a motion?
so Fred said the motion. Who wants to move that, please? Moved by Corinne Pollard, seconded by Dave Carbert. We don't need a recorded vote on this. Anybody object to that? Seeing none, so that is passed unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Fred. Fred, that's a skill. What you just did there, it's one that I don't have, so thank you. Last one on here, and then it's time to go home. Decisions, when we have our official decisions, recording for the motion or against the motion. You saw the one that we made for the first line application last month. And at first that decision came out with everybody's names on it, but neither Eric nor I voted for that. So we requested to have our names taken off of that, just to explain why our names were off of that. But the point of bringing this up is that our decisions should show who voted for it, who voted against it.
It should be like this session, boxes.
Yeah,
Moved by, seconded by, carried.
sorry?
You can just call for a recorded vote on the major files. Unless you want that on the approval.
No, this is in the decision, Mike.
Yeah, just the major, just the meat of the agenda, right, for the consents.
But you just want it, as opposed to just the people who voted for it, indicated as signed. That went out with everyone's name, waiting for you to come back to say yay or nay. But you want all members and a yes, no. You want the
Yes.
recorded vote
In the
indicated
decision.
on the decision.
Yes.
See a problem with that? Do you?
No, there shouldn't be, but that's the point. Because, Simi sends it out and says, do you agree with this? And that, so yes, that's it. So we want to put that in place as moving forward. That's the way we're going to do things. So what do we need to, are we in agreement? With that, yes, 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 yes. Okay.
Then that could be incorporated into a procedure bylaw.
Yes,
Future.
yeah,
But for
exactly.
now, sure, we just note that on all applications, you're going to call for someone. It doesn't have to be the chair. Anyone can call for a recorded vote. Just don't forget.
But
Call for a recorded vote, and all recorded votes will be noted on the notice of decision.
okay, but here's the thing though. We did not record that vote. For the first line application, we did not record that vote. If we have to record all the votes, then I don't have a problem with that. Doesn't take a long time. But regardless of whether we're recording the vote or not recording the vote, the decision should show who voted for, who voted against.
That's your call.
That's what I'm asking for, or suggesting that we do here.
Without it being in the procedure bylaw, I think what Fred's saying is you need to call for a recorded vote.
Yeah.
and
Well,
it'll
okay,
happen.
and
It'll happen.
I'll call for recorded votes from now on. That's, yeah.
Well, between you, Simi, and Fred and I, I'll try and remember.
And any
Thank
member
you.
can call for a recorded vote, right?
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
that's
so
a
if
matter of privilege. Anyone can
that's
call.
perfect. If that's the easiest way to do it, then no problem. That's easy to do. Okay. That's that. That's everything I got. Thank you, everybody. Next meeting, Mike, we already talked about that. You're saying no files will be far enough along for a meeting in November.
Correct.
Thank you. Just clarifying that. I'll send out a usual thing about that. So no meeting in November.
Don't need to have a meeting in December.
Not usually.
So that's my question, if we're not meeting November, or are we gonna do a different date?
So I think we'll push for December. I don't know why you don't have a meeting, and is there a history of why?
Well,
Okay, well,
this December,
we're not having it.
the
We're not
fourth-
having it Christmas Eve,
Yeah,
if that's what you guys
listen,
want.
the fourth Thursday is Boxing Day.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I don't think council even, what do they meet? Once in December?
what I'm saying is if there's something time sensitive, is there anything, do you know what they are? Do you even know what they are?
Is
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
November's dead anyway?
Yeah, we could move
Yeah.
it up or something, but yeah, because Dave never wanted to have one. That's why we didn't have one.
We,
So we change, we'd
You,
have to
Dave,
change. the
tried,
bylaw.
yeah.
oh, that's right,
And
yeah.
I thought about,
Yeah.
looked at you.
Okay, you know what? That's a good idea. If we don't have a November meeting, but if there is something that comes in that's time sensitive, then we're all open to changing the meeting in December. We just need to give the public enough notice.
So provided Simi can get what she needs, that would be, we'd be looking at December 19th. Which is
Or-
the third Thursday of the month.
Yeah, that's normally the planning committee, but we haven't had any meetings.
Yeah, you won't have that either.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not a problem, Mike. It's.
Yeah, so the
when-
19th, Simi will start to review the files, see if it's reasonable, and we'll make sure the committee's aware.
Okay, so I'll send out something talking about no meeting in November and the possibility of a meeting on Thursday, December the 19th.
May as well.
Okay,
We're
that's,
losing a month anyway.
so Mike, good suggestion. Thank you. Okay, that's that. That's it.
I move we adjourn.
Moved by Dave Carver, adjourning at 8:45, seconded by Corinne Pollard, and I see no objections, so that's it. And now that you can